So let's figure out how to solve the Age of Laika challenge. Hopefully you read through the text and watched the intro video. You kind of meant to do both side by side. And what we're going to do here is we're going to figure out how to solve this. So I've gone ahead and I've opened up Xcode here, and we're going to create a new Xcode project. And we're going to make this a single view application. Now, notice I've already gone ahead and downloaded the image asset you're going to need for this project onto my desktop. If this is in your downloads folder, that's completely fine. You can go ahead and copy it in from your downloads folder. So we're going to choose iOS application, single view application. Go ahead and press next. And I'm going to go ahead and call this Age of Laika. And we're going to make this bitfountain.io is my organization, organization identifier. Maybe yours is self.edu. Language is going to be Swift. We're doing all of our programming in Swift. And our device will be for the iPhone. So let's go ahead and press next. And I'm going to go ahead and initialize this with a Git repository because I want to be able to share my code with other people. And we can go ahead and, enlarge our project here. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drag in my image. Let's just get that in there at the beginning. Remember to copy items if needed. We're going to create groups. There is no group here, but in the future, there will be. And we're going to add to targets. This is really important, Age of Laika. So we can press finish. And we now have our image asset. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to set up our storyboard. We're going to do the iPhone, and we're going to do the 4-inch screen again. It's just a really nice screen size to choose for now. Again, in the future, we'll figure out how to do more screen sizes, but we're focusing on coding for now. So let's go ahead, and we're going to select our view controller here. Let's set its size to iPhone 4-inch screen. Let's set the orientation to be portrait. And the first thing we're going to need for our views here is an image view. So we can go ahead and search for that. Let's drag this into the bottom here. And let's shrink this. We need some space to add some other elements here. But, let's try to get this to actually be a nice square, right? Our image asset's a square. So let's do 320 by 320 and line this up like so. So the other thing we're going to need here, well, we're going to need a label in order to display our information. So let's go ahead and search for a label. And we can drag this right into the top here. And let's go ahead and enlarge this. And we can call this dog ears. Now, hopefully we're not putting too much information in here. But I always just like to enlarge the labels given the space in case they go larger than we expect. And we're also going to need a text field. So let's drag that in. And let's enlarge this. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of space. Later on, we're going to be putting another label down here. Not in this challenge, but in a future challenge. And let's go ahead and add a button. And we can put this here. And let's go ahead and give this button a name. We can call this convert to dog ears. And let's give this a little bit more space here. Make this a little bit larger. Maybe we can center this up too. That looks nicer. So we now have everything in here. Let's go ahead and just adjust our text field. We're going to want to add some placeholder text. So we're going to say enter human years here. And let's change the keyboard while we're at it. We're going to make this a number pad. We only want the user to be able to enter numbers. And we now need to hook up all of our elements to our view controller. So we're going to hold down the Alt key and press on viewcontroller.swift. And let's hook up our UI elements first before we get to our action. So let's hook up our label first. And we can call this dog ears label. And this is going to be a UI label. It can only be an outlet, right? We can't have an action for our label. And the storage type will be weak. Connect that. Let's add a return. And let's also hook up our text field here. So this is going to be enter human years text field, and we can connect this up. Now, you might ask yourself, do I need to hook up this image view? Well, we could change the image property of our image view in code, but the much easier way here is to just select our image view, and let's use the drop down and select Age of Laika. So we now have a nice graphic to go along with our project. This is just kind of for nice design purposes, get a little action into our application. So let's hook up our button, and we're going to make this an action. And let's call this convert to dog ears button pressed. Notice the naming convention here, right? We're gonna make sure that we add this press at the end to make sure that other developers know this is absolutely an action or a function that's going to occur when we press our button. And its type, well, we can change this to UI button. We can leave this as any object. Doesn't make any difference. We're not going to be using it. Event is touch up inside, and the argument is going to be center. So let's connect this up. And now we've successfully, set up our storyboard and hooked everything up. So in our next video, we're going to figure out how do we grab information from our text field and update our label appropriately.